to the vlog. Just putting together some behind the scenes. Do you hear my cat? Just putting together some behind the scenes stuff happening. If this video comes together as I planned, you may have seen some footage of me outside doing a little cardio workout today. So that was fun. I am just getting ready to record some book recommendations. It's going to be a short video and it's likely up at the time that this is posted. But let me show you what I have set up here, and maybe you'll get to see Puck too because she's yapping quite a bit. Hold on a sec. All right, so here's my very fancy setup for doing a little just a little book recommendation video. I have 3 books that I've read recently, and I thought I would just have a seat on the floor, say hi Puck, and just talk a little bit about some books that I've been reading. So yeah, let's sit down and do that. All right, well, I just finished recording the book reviews that I wanted, and they're not reviews, they're recommendations. I can't do book reviews, you guys, because I don't want to be that detached from a book. I am happy to talk about books I love, but I don't think I could criticize somebody else. It's hard to write a book. Anyway, it's also hard to make videos, I'm finding, but I just got this recorded, and I have to admit, the more I do it, the easier it becomes. I sort of remember some things. I still feel a little weird talking to a camera, so I had to do this when my husband and son left the house, so I wouldn't feel like a dork. But yeah, got that done, so that's feeling productive. Now all I have to do is edit this puppy and finish up the article that goes with it, and I can post this stuff, and we will be off to a very good start for 2024. Cool. Sunday morning. It is the second week of January, and I'm just settling in to do a little weekly planning. I have decided I'm going to switch up the vlogging process around here a little bit. I've always tried to do like a week of vlogging and try to pull something together in kind of a 1-week increment, and I think instead what I'm going to do is pull together stuff throughout the month, and then at the end of the month put it all together into kind of a behind the scenes look at the month that just happened. So that's the plan. We'll see how that goes. That way I think I can capture more of what goes on than just limiting myself to what happens in a week if something happens. I mean, some weeks are just kind of boring. So that's the plan. That's where we're gonna go from there. I am right now sitting down, like I said, to do some planning for the week. I am looking at what I got done last week. It was actually a really productive week last week. I got a video up on YouTube with some book recommendations. I put an article out about those book recommendations as well, and be very proud of me, I actually promoted that article a little bit. And by promote, I mean I put it out on Threads, put a link to it on Threads. So not a ton of promotion, but more than I typically do. So I'm kind of proud of myself for that. And I'm looking at the week ahead now. I'm really excited because I'm at a place with the book now where I think I have a book, an actual book. And now I'm going back through the whole thing from the first chapter to the very end and making sure that it's all pulled together. And there are a couple of places where I have some like mini research pieces that I need to do. So I want to go in and get those cleaned up as well. But yeah, from beginning to end, we're doing kind of a big, massive cleanup. I actually did this several months ago with the first like 10 chapters. So those should be really easy to get through. In fact, I did the first 2 and those were pretty easy. So I think that part will go very quickly. But then once I get to like the second half deeper in, there will be a little bit more work to do. But I'm really excited about that, getting that process started. And then maybe getting this into somebody else's hands to take a look at and give me some feedback on. So that's on tap for next week. I also want to work on some video content for folks who might not know. In addition to the history stuff that I do, I'm also a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, and I do a little bit of that as well. So I want to put together some content around training and nutrition, especially it's the new year. We know how this goes. So I want to put together some information around that to get out to folks. So that's in the works. Flute studies have been a little rough because everything I'm working on is brand new, but having fun. I'm going to keep working on some songs for my next progress check. And I'm working through the very first Rubank book. So folks familiar with kind of the beginner music world will know what I'm talking about. And at first it was great. It was really easy because I had already done all that before. It's gotten less easy. So gonna buckle down, kind of continue to work through that. So yeah, those are kind of the big things on tap for next week. We'll see how it goes. Just got home and nobody is here, which means this is a really good time to practice my flute. And my cat is here. Stick. Hey, sweetie, you want to say hi? Come here. Everyone say hi to Swishes. All right. All right, so as I was saying, I just got home, nobody's home, and so this is a really good time for me to practice my flute. And I thought I would hop on and just show you a little bit about how I'm going about essentially teaching myself how to play the flute. So I'm going to go through some of the books that I'm working with and how I organize my practice and kind of how I'm keeping track of my progress going along. So I'm going to move you over here. Hold on. All right, let's see if I can make this happen. So this is my music stand. These are the two books that I'm primarily working with right now. Metronome and Tuner. I actually have been working a lot more with this recently with the Rubank book. I'll tell you about that in a second. Flute 101 is the book that I started with, and if you are thinking about learning how to play the flute, I highly recommend that this become the first book that you work with, because wow, was it fantastic in helping me get started. One of the things that I really like about it, and let me pull to page to get started. Here we go. This is, oh my gosh, do you hear my cats? One of the things that I really like about this book is they give you a lot of kind of very detailed instructions on how to play the flute, how to do the exercises. And I loved these fingering charts here. They were just so easy to understand and to help me know how to hold my flute. And they have them like that throughout the book. So as you keep going and getting new notes, they have the fingering charts for each of them. And the instructions on how to practice things in each lesson as well. So I really loved the detail in this book, and I still keep it out. I keep it out for a couple of reasons. One is they have some great scales exercises to work on, so scales and thirds, and then these arpeggios. So I really like those exercises. I typically use them to kind of warm up and get used to having my flute out every time I practice. And another thing that I really love about this book is this fingering chart right here. All the notes in one place. If there's something I've forgotten, I can go here and get confirmation on how to play it. And it's all in one place. So I really appreciate that. So Flute 101. Mastering the Basics if you're looking to get started. Excellent choice. So this is Rubank, and this is a pretty common book that people work from. In fact, I think I used Rubank when I was a kid learning to play the saxophone. So this has been around for a while. I'm glad that I did this book second and not first, that I started with Flute 101. This one doesn't have the same type of fingering chart to help know what the notes are. And it doesn't have the same level of detail and instruction to help me know how to play something or practice something. So I'm glad that this was a second option for me. One thing that I really like about this though, is because I was coming to this book with a little bit of experience, I was able to really get some good use out of my metronome and tuner, really working on the details of how the notes sounded and really paying attention to the rhythms and trying to be as precise as a very beginner can be. So that's been one really great thing about starting with Rubank as my second book, as opposed to starting it with my first. I couldn't have done that otherwise. So the last book I have, and I don't actually have the book itself out, but there's a book called 40 Little Pieces for Flute and Piano. And it's basically songs that you probably know, put together for beginners. And so I've been working through this book, just trying to learn these songs. And the ones that you see highlighted are ones that I have recorded. So let me tell you a little bit about how I'm tracking my progress. I'm gonna put you back up on my stand here first. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how I organize my practice time and how I'm keeping track of my progress. So for practice time, I basically start with the Flute 101 book that I told you about, going through some of those scales, exercises, and the arpeggios, the thirds, going through that and really working on trying to get the best sound that I can as I'm working on those scales. I then typically go to the Rubank book and work on a lesson from this book. And it usually takes a couple of days for me to get through a lesson in a way that I feel comfortable with. So I'll work a little bit on whatever lesson is here. Right now I'm getting into what they're calling rhythmic studies and counting studies, which is actually kind of good because that's probably maybe my weakest point, is understanding and knowing how to count properly and kind of find that rhythm. So that's what I've been working on in terms of lessons. And then this is that 40 Pieces book that I was telling you about. I typically pick a song or two or three out of this book, and what I do is set a date that I'm going to record those songs, and I practice them until that date, and then when that date comes along, I record them. One shot at it. So it's like my performance, right? I have one chance. However it sounds, if it sounds good, awesome. If it doesn't sound good, that's just the way it is. But that's how I've been tracking my performance. So right now I'm working on Waltz by Schubert, Minuet by Mozart, and Aria by Handel. And it's coming along okay, I think. We'll see. I'm supposed to record them next week, so we'll see. So yeah, those are my flute studies. And I am gonna get started playing my flute before my boys get home. So more later.